guys recording? Okay.
Let me, geez, off my phone and turn it off.
All right. Okay, well, we don't have anyone joining us just yet, but it is recording to start off with, and I'll sort of start off and slate things off.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr.
It's
Bradley
recording?
Thompson. It is. We are
Okay.
recording for posterity.
And then afterwards, we can have a picture of us
Wonderful.
Yes,
I love that.
absolutely.
I love that.
for social media.
Of course. I'm Dr. Bradley Thompson. I'm privileged to be joined by Safin Karim.
Hi, everyone.
And his teacher and pianist, Victoria Lynn, also our host for this wonderful venue. We're grateful to her for letting us invade the home and the teaching space.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And of course, certainly grateful to the Ruby Holland Foundation for the Arts for sponsoring this. And we'll just get right to it. I'll say just a preparatory word with this. This might not be the prototypical masterclass that one might be used to. I will say, with apologies to Safin, hopefully not apologies, I often will do things a little bit differently. My goal is to help the student get some growth just from this short amount of time that we're together. And this time is going to fly by, but
wonderful.
hopefully be very intense. That's my goal anyway. Master classes, will often take the form of just telling anecdotes about famous people that we've worked with, and name dropping and things like that. And that's not really my intent here. And so with that, I will say, and with apologies to teacher, without meddling too much, my focus is on the technical skill with the student. My focus is on helping them with their growth. And I am. There we go. Admitting one of our guests. My goal is to help the student with some technical growth. So I will kind of touch that proverbial third rail. I will, with your kind permission, get into some technical things if that's okay.
Yes.
And I heard this sort of work referred to as being like trying on clothes. We go out to the store, we try on some new clothes. Some of them we like, some of them we don't. All the things that I say, I just ask you, try them on.
Absolutely.
If they don't work, we'll put them back on the shelf, no problem.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can decide to take with you in your further growth or not. I'm here to offer some options and hopefully a little bit of guidance, and then it's up to you to decide how that works out for you. So we want to start with the most important thing, I think, is Safin singing. What are you going to sing for us?
I'll be singing the Vogelfänger bin ich ja from Mozart's The Magic Flute.
Great.
Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets lustig, als noch saß da. Ich Vogelfänger bin Plakat, bei alt und jung im ganzen Land. Weiß mit Tempellocken und Zogen und mich auf Zweifeln zu verstehen. Drum kann voll lustig sein, denn alle Vögel sind ja mein. Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets lustig, als noch saß da. Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, bei alt und jung im ganzen Land. Ein Netz voll Mädchen, was da ich bin sie dutzend weiß für mich. Dann stand ich sie bei mir ein und alle Menschen werden mein. Wenn alle Menschen werden mein, so tauscher ich nach Zuckerlein, die Völker mir am liebsten wär, begeben gleich Zuckerherren. Und küsst an sie mich zärtlich an, was sie mein Weib und ich ihr Mann. Sie schläft an meiner Seite, ich fliegt da wie ein Kind sie ein.
Very nice, sir. All right, good, good. Lots of, I'll talk so the camera can actually get us. Lots of good things, obvious good things going on. And I want to acknowledge those first off. It's a very pleasant tonal quality. Just a very pleasant sound that we're dealing with. Not a whole lot to meddle with there. You're capturing you're starting to capture the very happy, joyful quality of the character. I like that. I'm seeing some really good budding understanding of this text, which is so important with Shikaneda and with Mozart. And so I like what you're doing there. Let me address a few things, if I may, that I think will help bring this character a little more to life.
Yeah.
I will admit my biases right off the bat. Mozart is fast. All of my Mozart tempos, when I do it, are faster than what we usually think of. And I wonder if it's a classical, quote fingers, aesthetic versus, what we know in 2023. I don't know. But this is Mark Andante in the score.
Yeah.
I would say, let's take this at a much more joyful tempo. Now, you have to think, we're most often doing this with orchestra, yeah?
Right.
Or the first intent is to do this with orchestra.
Right.
So those violins are bouncing off that string, and they're moving along. Let me suggest, if you'd be so kind with letting me meddle, Victoria, let me suggest, he has to dance.
Oh,
he has to be joyful.
Yeah.
Do you know what's going on in the show at this point?
Yes, this is
Tell me.
the introduction, the exposition of the character. So Papageno is introducing himself to the audience.
And do you know what happens immediately before this?
I believe it's the first scene of the show.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you could refresh me.
Well, so we've already got somebody on stage.
Yeah.
We've got Tamino.
That's correct.
That
Yes.
lofty,
Yeah.
heroic character of Tamino. And Papageno, what I love about him in the show is I won't say the polar opposite, but he brings a very different feeling. He's the earthy, he's the humanistic, he's the
everyman.
Yeah, the everyman kind of guy. And so, while Tamino might walk in a stately manner, I think Papageno has to be lighter and dance. And I think the tempo leads us there. Can I just sort of inflict a faster tempo on you? And that's going to give some nice loft to some of these textual elements like Sasa.
Yeah.
Okay. We can be a little bit more. The way I translate nowadays is whoop-de-doo.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So so it needs to be lighter. I think. Can we try to get just quite a bit faster?
Sure.
And I may meddle in and stop you. Like that.
Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets gut im Kreis auf Salsa. Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, bei alt und jung im ganzen Land.
And let's stop there if we may. Thank you. That's wonderful. I like that so much better. Here's where I want to challenge you a little bit.
Yes.
With what I call and what I've heard other people call Mozartian phrase pairs. The idea that we get one expression that has one sort of character to it, and one sort of expression that has a different, I'm overusing the word character, but a different way of being expressed.
Yes.
the first phrase here, ihr Vogelfänger bin ich, a little more marked, a little less connected, a little less legato.
Yes.
And then, ich Vogelfänger bin, then we can really spin that legato then. So a little bit shorter, a little bit more clipped.
Okay.
And then a little bit longer, not longer in terms of slower tempo, but just more connected note to note. Can we try that again?
Absolutely.
So the first one short and crisper.
Der Vogelfänger bin ich, ja, stets bloß im Kreis und
legato.
Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, bei alten Jung im ganzen Land.
Good, let's stop there for a minute. Thank you for dealing with my traffic cop here. Start, stop, start, stop. I like that idea. And then I think what we take from that text, ich bin bekannt. I am known. He gets a little, I think he gets a little full of himself.
Very prideful.
Yeah, yeah. And so we can really bring that out with the legato.
Yeah.
I think that can go there. So consider that as you're working with it. I think first and foremost tempo. I myself vastly prefer this. And I think you'll find if you get the opportunity to do this with orchestra, or if you're using this in auditions or whatever, I think you'll find that your listener will appreciate the faster, lighter tempo.
Yes.
Okay. Related to that is this German text.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with Schikaneder, himself not the world's greatest singer, not the world's greatest musician. He's an actor. Yeah.
Right.
But this text is his. And so he knows what's going on with this character. That's why Papageno's music is so much more folksy, let's say, versus Tamino is just so much more, more regal.
Right.
And so we want to find ways of bringing out this text. I really love what you did the first time with talking, ich wiegte wie sie ein Kind sie ein. I'm gonna rock her to sleep.
Yes,
you're bringing that out. I think I would find opportunities to, well, let me start with a question. What is your experience with working with German or with studying the language or anything like that? Have you had that opportunity yet? I'm dealing with an 18-year-old man here, so somebody who's still growing in experience, but I don't want to sell you short.
Oh no, I've had a little bit of experience working in German with Nicholas. We studied some German works in my time.
Wonderful.
In my time at the Vocal Arts Intensive at UMKC, a few weeks ago, I did some German IPA diction study.
Okay, and I think that's a great direction for you to go, because with all due respect, I'm hearing some things that can be worked on, that can be improved. I would be careful with the ending R's in less accented words.
Okay.
Der Vogelfänger. Those ending R's would just kind of drop them.
Okay.
If you wind up accenting them too much, and I'll say I said I would avoid stories, but I'll just throw one out. Doing a Hansel and Gretel once, having a diction coach at the company, Ursula Kafferer, come out and just get all over me. What are you doing with these R's? Why are you rolling these R's? Der, wie du das say, der, just drop it. Der Vogelfänger, bin ich ja stets lustig, heißer Hopsasa. Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, okay, those are the only two we get in that first stroke there. But I think you can start right off the bat.
Yes.
And I think that will even add to that lighter character. If we roll the R's too much, it can get, all due respect, it can get very dialectic sounding.
I see.
Okay.
Yes.
And you don't want to over accent it too much because he is, as you said brilliantly, he is the everyman.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to niche him too much.
That makes a lot of sense.
Try again. Actually, let's skip into the second verse.
Someone is waiting to be let in.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't see them yet.
Oops.
So maybe it'll.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get the opportunity to do it. So maybe a bar or two, whatever, you're brilliant, so I trust you. And let's hop into that second stroke. Yeah?
Absolutely. Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets Fuß im Kreis und Sasa. Ich Vogelfänger Netz für Mädchen noch steig, ich find sie tut's weiß für mich.
And let's stop there if we can. Let me address one little thing there. When you were working with this German intensive, did they speak to you about a sound in German that many people call the Ischlaut sound?
We touched on it, yes.
Okay, it's called simply the Ischlaut, the ish sound. What a name for it.
Yeah.
But we get it in that pronoun. That we have a lot in this ish. With respect, I would say yours is coming at me a little bit dialectic.
I see.
If I'm being honest, very dialectic. I hope you won't punch me. But that eek sound comes across as a very Berliner accent.
I see.
And that accent, oh boy, I hope we don't have too many German speakers listening to us, but that particular accent can be as noticeable to an English speaker, to a German speaker, as a Bronx accent can be to an English speaker. It's very
Abrasive.
Your words, not mine. But let me encourage you that very first that very first time you get ish, if you can soften it up a little bit, let's get the tongue a little more forward. Ish. We don't want it to devolve to an ish.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm just getting in the weeds here with this detail, but these details matter.
Yes.
Gevogelfänger bin ich ja, stets lo. And then we have it again on that wonderful word, lustig.
Lustig.
Lustig. That IG, we turn it into that lustig. Lustig. Yeah, so we get the same sound. So we can get a little bit noisier with the consonants. As a matter of fact, when you get bin bekannt, get that T out there. The people in the balcony deserve to get the words too, right? Bin bekannt bei alt und jung im ganzen, what?
Land.
Land. Yeah, and use that percussive T at the end of there. It's written orthographically as a D, but that percussive T sound.
Yeah.
Bei alt und jung im ganzen Land.
Yeah.
And that gives us just a little more crispiness and light. I don't know what that hand gesture is, but a little more crispiness, a little more lightness to the character.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's focus on a couple of textual things this time through again with the second strophe. The Ischlaut, so you can just get that a little more forward.
Yeah.
You're still, as you're practicing, you're still getting it a little bad.
It's a little more.
Yeah, close to an SH sound in English, but not quite there.
I see.
Okay, and it may take some work. You'll get used to it. And again, like all these things, you may hate it later and throw it away. No skin off my nose. I'm fine with it. But let's work on the Ischlaut, and then let's work also on those ending t consonants. Yeah. Okay?
Fantastic.
One more time on that second stroke, please. And I'll try to be mindful of time.
Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets lustig, heißer Obsassa.
Can I give you another chance on that?
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
Yeah.
Let's try that. We're gonna be detailed here. You can do it.
Der Vogelfänger bin ich ja, stets lustig, heißer Obsassa. Ich Vogelfänger bin bekannt, bei alt und jung im ganzen Land. Ein Netz für Mädchen macht reich, ich fing sie dutzendweis für mich.
Okay, not bad. And I love that word. Dutzendweis. Dutzendweis. Do you know what we're saying there?
Dozen.
Yeah, dozen-wise, dozenly. I'll grab them up by the dozen.
By the dozen, yeah.
Let's see if we can get just a little more crispness with that. Dutzendweis.
Dutzendweis.
Ja, genau. Dutzendweis.
Dutzendweis.
Yeah. On your bilabial fricative, on your diction feature, on your v, and sorry, not bilabial, but your linguodental, labiodental fricatives, your f and your v, can you get a little more closure to them? Vogelfänger.
Vogelfänger.
Yeah. Vogelfänger, or the suffix on Dutzendweis, Dutzendweis.
Weiss.
Yeah, can you say the whole word for me?
Dutzendweis.
Yeah, there you go. Just a little, it takes a little more work than we're used to.
Sure.
And some might argue that emphasis on consonants runs the risk of taking away from the musical line, from the legato nature of the musical line. Mm-hmm. I acknowledge that, yes. But let me also say, we're teaching our parts to elevate the breath pressure that's used.
Yeah.
If anything, that's actually going to help propel the musical line. Okay.
That makes sense.
Singing is an aerobic act, an
Right.
aerobic muscular act.
Yeah.
And so I don't think any teacher wants to guide a student into overworking. But I think in terms of from here, principally with your lips and tongue, all due respect, I think you can work a little more. And I think what that does is tricks your entire system into propelling a greater breath pressure there. Der Vogel fängt. Just a little steadier, yeah?
Sure.
Maybe we go in the second half of the second strophe. Ein Netz für Mädchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ein Netz für Mädchen möchte ich fing sie Dutzend weiß für mich.
So Dutzend.
Dutzend?
Yeah,
That
Dutzend has a T on the end.
Yeah.
Getting that T and that V, one after another, just take some practice.
Sure.
Let's try it again.
Absolutely. Ein Netz für Mädchen möchte ich fing sie Dutzend weiß für mich.
Okay, that's getting better. I would encourage you to keep working with that.
Yes.
What I would say to any pianist partner working with Safin on this particular aria, I think we always grant our pianist permission to push this tempo along.
Okay.
He's used to, and I'm speaking for you, sorry,
Sure.
he's used to bringing this tempo down.
Yeah.
Don't let him.
Okay.
And then you also keep thinking of just propelling forward. Okay, we want him to dance, we want him to move, we don't want him to be stagnant and stale. And I'm not saying you're going there, but have that idea in the back of your mind.
Right.
You've got to move things along. My worst habit as a singer is if anything is in 3, I will drag that tempo to the ground.
Oh, really?
And every partner I know that I work with is, Bradley, come on, quit dragging it. So I have to think of moving that along.
Moving
I think
along.
you, with your experience so far with this aria, I think you can plant that seed in your own mind
Absolutely.
to motivate you to move along.
Yeah.
Okay, I knit. We're talking about capturing these women.
Yes.
Not in a bad way. But he's very interested in finding a mate.
Yeah.
Finding that other part of his soul.
Right.
So he's very
It's
excited
quick,
about
it's
it.
passionate.
Yeah. Same place, ein Netz. Get that?
Ein Netz für Mädchen möchte ich fing sie Dutzend weiß für mich.
Yes.
Dann sperrte ich sie bei mir an und alle Mädchen wären meine.
Good, okay. I thought one thing that you did really good was with that object pronoun, Mia. You
Yeah.
dropped that R, which I thought was excellent. Let me give you permission
Yes.
to, when we have sperrte, you can put a couple of rolls in there, because that's an interesting verb, right?
Yes,
Sperrte sie.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's actually go just right on that line, can we please? Sperrte?
Yeah.
Is that an okay place to start?
Dann sperrte ich sie bei mir an und alle mir.
Yeah. Bei mir ein.
Bei
Because
mir.
ein, the nature of ein, starting with that vowel sound, it's going to naturally require a glottal, a very mild glottal stop, but German has them. I'm sorry. We have them in English as well. We just don't think about it. We say I am, not I am. We don't blend them together. Mir ein.
Mehr ein.
Yeah.
Good.
A little bit of separation there. Dann sperrte sie.
Ich.
Dann sperrte ich sie bei mir ein, denn alle Mädchen wären. And you're keeping it moving along.
Yeah.
I like the additional energy you're giving to the consonants. Well done. Keep doing that. But let's drop that R on Mia.
Yes.
Separate it just a little bit from ein, and then backing up just a little bit, not to give too many things to worry about.
Sure.
Sperrte.
Sperrte.
Yeah, it can be a noisy sound.
Yeah.
Can you roll R's?
Slightly.
Okay.
Slightly.
Give just a little more air to it in the midst of that word. Sperrte.
Sperrte.
I like it. Let's try it.
Dann sperrte ich sie bei mir an und alle Menschen wären meine.
Okay, very nice, and I appreciate you being kind with me about being so doggone picky.
Oh, please.
But this one line gives gives us a few things we can work on that I think you can apply in many other ways. When we get to bei mir ein, what do you know what the note is that we sing on ein?
It's an E, I mean, yes.
Is it an E or is it a D?
It's a me.
It's an E. Okay, good. Thank you. You're perfect. E, that I don't want to scare anybody, but that a little bit more difficult note for us baritones. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That passaggio area.
Yes.
When I was a younger singer, I was encouraged to go a more open direction with those vowels that are in the passaggio. May I suggest to you, I would say go a different way. I would actually go towards a more rounded sound, not as big an opening with your mouth and jaw.
Yeah.
Bei mir ein. Okay, listen to that resonance pattern there. Ein. For my ears, that's a little shouty.
Okay.
And actually, if we really break it down and analyze it, we're getting too much of the second harmonic, the first octave overtone over the second. That's what that vowel shape tends to overemphasize. If we instead take it towards a less open or more rounded shape, we actually send a lot of that acoustic energy not to that first octave overtone, but up another octave in the fifth.
I see.
And to my ears, it sort of broadens the sound out, but I think also it's just a little bit easier.
Yes.
It's a little ein, just not so open. So can you, for right now, can we just do, sorry to do this in a master class, 3 notes. Bei mir ein. And I want you to think just a little bit rounder with your mouth. Let's play with it. You may hate it later. 2 hours later, you may say, that Thompson guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's okay. But let's try it out. Bei mir ein. Bei mir ein. See, you're going way open there. Oh, this is going to be odd for the recording. Come over here, my young friend.
Yes.
To this mirror. The absolute best voice teacher in the world is a mirror. Bei mir ein. And I want you to watch your mouth opening there.
Okay.
Okay?
So. Bei mir ein.
Do you see how you're getting some jaw drop on that last one?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you try it without that.
Okay.
Okay? And I don't want to, manipulate you or anything. I'll let you take charge of that.
Yeah.
But a rounder, some might say a smaller opening. I don't want to get you tight and compacted or anything. It's not smaller back here.
Right.
But it is a smaller open.
I see. It's just compressing a little bit.
Maybe we can use lots of words to describe it. Yeah. Heck, one article I read talked about a reverse megaphone shape.
Oh, interesting.
Which rubbed me the wrong way the first time I read it. Yeah, but as the more I thought about it, it was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Bei mir ein. Singing that ah with more of an o, the German o shape to it. It's not going to come out sounding wrong, I promise. Let's just play around with it. Okay, once again. Bei mir ein. Not bad at all. Careful of what your tongue's doing. It's wanting to fly up on you. Bei mir ein.
So the tongue is here against the
Yeah, the tip of the tongue is always, unless we're flipping it up for a consonant,
Right.
always staying at home at the back of the bottom teeth. Okay? Once again.
Bei mir ein.
Breath underneath it, yeah.
Bei mir ein.
Not bad, not bad. I would encourage you to experiment with that. And I
Yes.
think what you'll find, a teacher I had once upon a time called it going through the hourglass. The idea that the notes below, we have them big and open.
Right.
The notes in the passaggio, we have them a little more focused, is the word I like to use, in terms of an opening. And then above it, bei mir ein. Well, that was terrible, but we open up as we get above it. But in that passaggio, for you, probably D, E, F, and F sharp. Probably at this state of your growth.
Yeah.
We'll see, who knows. But I would say stay in a little more closed position, a little more focused position.
Okay.
Play with that idea as you work more with this. Let us, we're doing just fine on time. May we go into that third strophe
Yes.
then. And we see the progression of Papageno introduces himself, tells everybody how wonderful he thinks he is.
Yes.
In the second strophe, he's talking about his need for a mate, right?
Yes.
And then once he finds that mate,
Yeah,
what's he gonna
what's
do?
gonna happen?
Here's number 3. Yeah.
Yes. Wenn alle Menschen fremden Mann, so tauscht ich Naturkelein, die Welt mir am liebsten war.
third strophe, this is the first time we're starting off singing not about ourselves. Right?
Yeah.
So I think I think the approach has to be different, and I think we can, even in the wonderful stuff with the panpipe playing, I think we can see a little bit different process.
Yeah.
I think you can portray that a little bit differently.
Sure.
He's marinating in this wonderful
Almost, it's a
idea.
little plotting.
Oh, maybe,
A
yeah.
little.
Yeah, of what I'm going to do.
Yes,
Here's
yes.
here's the happy ending.
Sure. Yes, yes.
So let your audience see a little bit of that before the mouth opens and we start making noise.
Yes.
Then we've got some ending R's that are being a little troublesome.
Yes.
Wenn alle Mädchen wären mein, so tauschte ich Trag Zucker ein. Zucker. Not Zucker, but Zucker ein.
Zucker.
Yeah, Zucker ein. Yeah, and with that little glottal there, I think that'll clean it up just a little bit. Okay? We talk about the ladies a lot. Repeat after me. Mädchen.
Mädchen.
Yeah! That's much better.
Great.
Much better. So the first root of that word before the diminutive suffix chen, met. Yeah, met. Just M-E-T. Met.
Mädchen.
Mädchen. Yeah.
Mädchen.
Once again, please.
Wenn alle Menschen wären mein, so tauschte ich nach Zucker ein. Die Welke mir am liebsten wär, da gäb ich gleich den Zucker her.
Okay, let's start with it. Gleich.
Gleich.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's see if we can get that same Ishlaut quality with welche.
Welche.
Welche, yeah. The German L
Yes.
is, like many other languages other than English, it's much more with the very tip of the tongue blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so welche.
Welche.
Yeah, that'll keep your tongue a little more forward for that Ishlaut and won't let it get back to a welche.
Welche.
And I am, of course, exaggerating. You did it much better than that still, but welche.
Welche.
Okay, once again, good job.
Wenn alle Menschen wären mein, so tauschte ich den Zucker ein. Die welche mir am liebsten wär, da gäb ich gleich den Zucker her. Und küsste sie mich zärtlich an, dass wie ein Weib und ich ihr Mann.
Good, let me stop you there. Mich, ich. All of those get them a little more forward. We're still getting some of that dialectic ich creeping in there. So that'll just be.
Take a second.
Yeah. You may need some repetition to incorporate that if that's the direction you want to go. I want to respectfully caution you against liebsten.
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 Liebsten. ST is when they begin a word element in German. They are st, but this is a suffix. Liebsten.
Liebsten.
Yeah, we can't go st there. Okay, just like the word window, Fenster. Fenster, it's not Fenster.
Right.
Fenster, Liebsten. Okay, just a little thing there. Let's do that one more time, and we'll wrap this piece up. Give you some things to think about, and then I'd love if we can switch over to JJ Niles, yeah?
Wenn alle Menschen wären mein, so tauschte ich den Zucker ein. Die welche mir am liebsten wär, da gäb ich gleich den Zucker her. Küsste sie mich zärtlich an, dass wie mein Weib und ich ihr Mann. Sie schlief an meiner Seite an, ich fiel wie ein Kind sie ein.
In the very self-satisfied, nice, sweet, I hope you don't think I'm being offensive saying that, but that sweet ending that you have with your face there, I think is right where it needs to be. I like that, yeah, we want to give the audience some breath there, finishing that aria, and hopefully there's going to be a little bit of this, we always hope. And then hopefully our Tommy Home knows where that next bit of dialogue is.
Yeah.
And doesn't step on you there too much. But yeah, I like that pleasant ending there.
Wonderful.
And we get to see that, yeah, he wants the woman, he's not too aggressive, he still doesn't know how it's gonna come to him, but
Right.
happiness is what his goal is.
Yes.
I like that there at the end. Okay, good. Yeah, just, think about some of those things.
Yeah.
See if you like them. I know it's very nitpicky, but
No, I won't.
that's the way I work.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
hopefully it can be some specific things
For sure.
that you can take there. Great. Well, can we make a big switch of gears?
Sure.
Safin has told me we're going to be doing Wayfaring Stranger, arranged by John Jacob Niles. Again, another one of my favorites. I love this repertoire you're selecting. Let's jump into that, shall we?
Great. I am a poor wayfaring stranger, while journeying through this world of woe. Yet there's no sickness, toil, nor danger in that fair land to which I go. I'm going there to see my mother. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will gather on me. I know my ways rough and steep. Yet beauteous fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed their vigils keep. I'm going there to see my Father. He said he'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. I want to shout salvation's story in concert with the blood-washed band. I'm going there to meet my Savior, to sing His praise forevermore. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.
Nice, and beautifully played, by the way. Thank you so much.
One of the comments is that it's off, I think. Is it still recording?
Yes, it's supposed to be, and I can let in another one of our guests, but yes, it does show is still recording.
Okay, great.
On my end.
Good.
I hope. I sincerely hope. Are your counterparts able to hear the audio?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything.
I'm glad. Okay.
Beautiful.
The microphone's paying off,
Oh,
hopefully.
great, yes.
And you're playing it.
Yeah, we can hear all the beautiful stuff from our support system, our
Yes.
counterpart, our partner. It's great to have that. Singers are really privileged to have that teamwork
Yes.
sort of atmosphere. I love that. John Jacob Niles. Let me ask you a bit of a loaded question.
Sure.
Have you ever gotten on the YouTubes
Ah,
and found a recording of this man singing?
John Jacob Niles himself? I haven't.
Do yourself a favor. Do
I
that.
will.
You might be kind of floored by what he does. Yeah.
He was a baritone.
Yes, but well, I don't know, because he typically would not sing in that sort of range.
I see. What really?
Niles was very enthralled with his falsetto sound.
Ah, so also countertenor.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. The focus of his work, his academic work, was on Appalachian folk music.
Really?
And so hence we get, things like this and, many of his other compositions. But he would accompany himself on auto harp or dulcimer.
Yes.
He owned many dulcimers, an Appalachian folk instrument, and the strummed kind, not the hammered kind.
Yes.
There are a couple of different varieties. But hearing him, he was a very, very dramatic
Oh, really?
kind of singer. Yeah, he was. If you look on Wikipedia,
Yeah.
I know we're not supposed to use that, right?
Ah.
But if you look on Wikipedia, you'll see a little note that he was known in the 50s and 60s as part of the American folk song movement and emphasis, with people like Joe Baez,
Right.
Burl Ives,
Yeah.
Peter, Paul and Mary,
Absolutely.
Bob Dylan, for crying out loud.
Sure.
And he gained some notoriety with that, even though his work was even earlier still.
Yes.
But yeah, he would make television appearances, accompanying himself on auto harp
Wow.
and singing this very high falsetto, and lending a really dramatic sort of atmosphere
Right.
to these folk songs.
Oh, I see. Yes.
The reason I bring it up is I think it can inform us where Niles goes with some of these things, but then we as sort of the artistic conduit, I'm getting very lofty here, but the conduit for these, we're faced with a choice. Do we want to be decidedly not metronomic and decidedly go, off the beat with what we're singing and vary the tempo so much, and give it that almost improvisatory kind of quality that he himself would do?
Right.
Or do we stick with what's on the page? I'll let you know my bias, but I think your decision is the important one.
Of course.
I would say let's do what's on the page.
I see. Absolutely.
Because the way he would score these written works was in a very quote-unquote classical sort of style, whereas his own performances, he would be decidedly not classical. I think maybe we go with what we're given.
Absolutely.
And I'm pointing, for those of us on the camera, I'm pointing to the score. But if somebody were to go completely the other direction, I would have no argument with that. I think it's a choice. But I think you will find, it easier for listeners to come to you if it's in that more familiar, quote fingers, classical style. But one can make a personal decision either way. If we are going to go, and this is where I would guide you, if we are going to stay pretty darn classical, I would encourage you, we need to find the legato in this.
Sure.
We need to find that legato melody. This is very different from what Mozart was giving us.
Right.
The light-hearted everyman Papageno.
Yeah.
This, a spiritual song,
Right.
is different in character.
Absolutely.
Legato, I think, for particularly speakers of American English, is a huge challenge, because our language itself is not a legato language. It's a consonant-dominated language, because it's a Germanic language. I think Italians have a much easier time.
Yes, that is easy, yes.
Yeah, those sustained vowels.
Yes.
But I think we need to find a dose of that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think one of the great ways of finding that is if we get rid of those pesky consonants
And sing on the vowel.
and sing just on the vowels. Have you ever done that as an
I have,
exercise
yes.
before? I'd love to hear what you do with that. Now, we have an option. You can either choose one vowel and keep it through the phrase,
Right.
which I think is a great way of accomplishing it.
Sure.
Or sometimes a more challenging way of doing it,
Finding the vowels on the page.
the vowels on the page.
Absolutely. I can try that.
Make a choice and do what you like.
Sure, I'll go with the vowels on the page.
Can we try it out? Maestra, maybe that 4/4 bar, so we're doing two full ones before it comes in. The triplet mode there? Perfect. Thank you. Vowels. I'm going to stop you there and say that's very good so far. Let's see if we can build it and make it even better.
Yes.
I hear a little bit of what I refer to as a little bit of a monovowel approach. I'm sorry, no offense intended.
No, no.
The vowel sounds and shapes, for me, for my ears, aren't different enough.
I see. So
I, o, so on and so forth. You're staying very open, which is good in many instances, but the fact remains that in English, we have some vowels that are closed.
yeah.
Oohs, e's, things like that are a more closed or more focused position. And I want to encourage you to let that happen when it should. Okay?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to be open all the time. We as singers can make a ton of noise with a small opening. It's very possible. And I think it's a more pleasing sound because we get the different acoustic qualities of those vowels.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say with this exercise, it sort of demands in our approach to legato that we allow the vibrato to be consistent.
I see.
Vibrato, the great V word that the teachers never touch, but I'm all in that stuff. For a very small percentage of singers, we have to focus on, oh my gosh, how does vibrato happen? And yes, it is a complex, interchange of muscular balances and all this stuff that we could talk about for an hour and a half, but let's not, because you know how to do it. Singers know how to do it. It's a natural part of human expression. Heck, we can even find plenty of examples of speaking voices that have vibrato in them. Let's let that happen when we're singing, and let's let it be consistent, even on the shorter notes.
Okay.
Yours is sort of waiting until those longer notes.
I
So
see.
even on I am a boy, I have coached once, Dr. Mutsumi Moteki. Hi, Dr. Moteki. The smartest lady I've ever known. Dr. Moteki-san. Dr. Moteki would say, be generous with your voice. Sing between the notes.
Yeah.
So it's not just on that beat or half beat or wherever we're singing, it's what continues past it. That magic happens between the notes. Can we see what you can do with that? You can choose words or vowels only.
Let's try vowels only.
Vowels only, vibrato on all those notes, all those vowels, yeah?
Traveling through.
Through. Okay. Can we start right on that half phrase? While traveler, okay. And then I think what that allows, because we do have some higher notes that come in.
Yes,
right?
yes.
If we keep the vibrato going between and most of these higher notes are approached by leap, yeah? If we have vibrato on that note before the leap, or the first part of the leap, however we want to term it, that sort of forces us or tricks us to keep the airflow going as we approach that next. So we're not lunging to that top note.
Yes.
Okay, my wife is a soprano, and we talk about a lot, it's not always about the high note.
Right.
It's usually about the note before the high note.
The preparation.
Yeah, and keeping that vocal momentum, that airflow momentum. So how about where we at, I'm going there? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you for the right note. It's the wrong one I sang. So vibrato on all those.
Yeah.
Let's do it first, we're just gonna do 4 notes. I'm going there.
I'm going there.
First with just vowels, and let's do it with full text, yeah?
Okay.
Sorry, brother, what's that second word?
Go.
Go.
Oh.
We need an O vowel, yeah?
Yeah.
Try it again. Once more, just what you did. Good job. Same thing, please. Good job. Can you do something for me?
Sure.
I want you to, this is getting a little technical in the weeds here, but I want you to make your body lower as you're singing higher.
Okay.
We're going to pretend we're ballet
Yeah.
dancers, and we're going to do a little second position demi-plie, okay?
Yeah.
Tailbone straight down. Don't sound like me, sound like you.
Yeah.
You're better than me, sound like you. Good, can you do it more gradually? Don't
Yeah.
save it for that note.
Go down through the phrase.
Okay, yeah. Did you hear the line there?
Yeah.
Good job, now let's do it. I'll tell you what, let's solidify it, do it once more the same way, and then we're gonna do it with words and wonderful pianist partner, we're gonna keep going after that. Thank you for letting me stop you so often. Okay, now let's do it with words, and we're gonna keep going, but that idea of constant vibrato. You're a violinist whose left hand never quits moving, okay?
I'm going there to see.
Can I give you the most loving ever? Okay, we lost it on that second note. Let's be insistent.
Right.
You are free to be insistent with yourself.
Absolutely.
I'm going. If one of the notes lacks vibrato, then the line is stopped.
Right.
Okay, try her again.
I'm going there to see my mother.
And then after the high note.
Yes.
What's the note after the high note?
2.
2. Let's have vibrato through that.
Absolutely.
Okay, once more.
I'm going there to see my mother.
Good breath, keep going.
I'm going there no more to roam. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.
Trick question.
Yes,
Do you ever record your voice lessons?
I do.
Good, okay. This is an opportunity to do what you're probably already doing, which is a great thing. I have to beg, bribe, threaten, cajole my students to record their lessons, and then listen back to it. When we get access to this recording,
Yeah.
I want you to listen back to that right there. And I'm not saying, ooh, look what I did with this student. Listen to what you did. Listen to what you accomplished with that legato line. I think you're going to hear an appreciable difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, and I think this piece is worthy of that consistency of legato,
Yeah.
of just keeping that spinning. Now, I will say, it's a very fatiguing way of singing, and I don't mean physically, mentally, to just fatigue, like, oh my gosh, I can't take any notes off.
Right.
You know what, that's the truth. Be constantly engaged. And the more you habitualize it, it becomes second nature. You just always sing with that spin, okay, that movement forward of the phrase. So let's talk about, on a more macro level in terms of phrase. Each of the verses, Niles has, if you take a look at the score, Niles has constructed with a mezzo piano start.
Yeah.
And that peak in the sort of in the middle, or the second 2/3 of the phrase.
Right.
Maybe it's a golden ratio kind of thing. I don't know. But finding that dynamic peak a little bit later in the phrase.
Sure.
The first time through,
Yes.
maybe a nerve thing or a today thing or whatever, but the first time we did it through, you were a little bit strong on the beginning of those.
Yes.
I think, I don't say restrained because I don't want you to hold back anything.
Sure.
But save a little bit of growth.
Sure. Absolutely.
Particularly with the dark textual character of that second stanza.
Yes.
Dark
clouds.
Yeah. I don't think you want to.
Right.
Can we start on that second verse?
Sure.
That second verse, and start with the mezzo piano.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a lot of things to work
Absolutely,
over.
yeah.
Start with the mezzo piano.
Yes.
Save your dynamic peak until later in the
Yeah.
later in the verse. but each and every note has that
Right.
spin and moving forward. And I'll be off camera, but you may see me doing that a little bit,
Absolutely.
just as a
Please.
reminder. I don't want to stop you. I've been doing that too much.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Let's do the second verse, okay?
Thank you. I go talk clubs with Naomi. I know my way is rough and steep. Yet beauteous fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed the vigils keep. I'm going there to see my father. He's very meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.
Let me stop you there. That's a world difference, I think. Anyway.
Thank you.
I think, listen back to this, see if you like it or not, but my
It's beautiful.
word, there's some real beauty there.
Thank
And I think that legato approach, just simply, it's, the effect is magical, I think, but what we're doing is not magical. What we're doing, all that I'm saying is give more of your voice more often.
Be generous.
Yeah,
as
be
you
generous
said.
with your voice, yeah. And when you do that, it takes it from here to here. It's a big difference in terms of the impact. Two things that I would suggest in here.
Absolutely.
You did on that first ba-da-da-da, that E minor up, whatever the text was, I apologize for forgetting. We didn't have the legato there, but the good news is you got it the second,
Okay.
the next phrase, you recaptured it. So practice it until that,
It becomes second nature.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're putting a little bit of a button on home. It's a touch harsh to end.
Okay, a little bit.
Yeah, I think I relaxed out of that.
Okay.
And I think I would encourage you to just, again, have a little smaller opening with that. Ho, ho, just an more easily produced sound there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we go right from where we stopped, if you please, Victoria, and with the piano introduction, I hate to call it an introduction, the piano solo time before that last stanza, okay?
I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. I want to trust salvation's story in concert with the blood-washed land. I'm going there to meet my Savior.
We'll stop there, after the blood-washed band.
Yes.
Maybe cut that ending note off just a little bit.
Sure.
And give yourself just that extra quarter of a second to get that low abdominal expansion of that next breath.
Yeah.
So that you can renew that sense of legato going into, I'm going there. So you can spin into that.
Absolutely.
Okay, can we start that third stanza one more time?
Sure.
If you please.
I want to wear a crown of glory when I get home to that good land. I want to trust salvation's story in concert with the blood-washed band. I'm going there to meet my Savior, to sing His praise forevermore. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home.
think that's a good one to end on. Bravo, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, honestly, for my ears, that makes a big difference.
Wow.
And I want to encourage you to keep experimenting with that. And, you know, the earlier, and I don't mean to insult you by calling you young, but to me, you're young. But the earlier a younger singer can establish that skill of legato,
Yes.
you got a leg up on everybody else. You got a leg up on the artistic expression. You got a leg up on the technical skill. You got a leg up on all the things that you might want to do with a piece of music. And then we have the ability, okay, like we talked about with Papageno,
Right.
of selectively shortening things and making it less legato. But if this right here, I would
Yes.
say respectfully, if this becomes your default, if
Yes.
this becomes your habitualized and very practiced and very worked upon way of singing,
Yes.
everything's easy. Flexibility comes easily. Range extension comes easily when you have that idea of consistently incorporating breath into the vocal sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legato's the key, man.
Absolutely.
You are so good to work with.
Thank
That was for those in the internet world. Elizabeth and I were sharing a look here and there with that sound
Yes.
of what you were doing, especially on that last time through. It's very touching.
Well, thank you.
It's beautiful to listen to. I really enjoy it. You're a talented young man, and I hope you keep working.
Thank you.
Good working with you.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
We'll press stop on this. Thank you to, I'm getting out of frame. Thank you to our guests for joining us. Again, thank you, Victoria, for beautiful playing.
Thank
I'm
you.
grateful for that. Thank you, Ruby Holland Foundation for the Arts. This is a really special opportunity, and thank you all for joining us.
Oh, that was so delightful.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
See if I'm
You're
doing
a
this
very good
right.
student.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful
Worked since she
future.
was 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did good with social media?
I believe it was Facebook and NATS, National Association
Yeah,
of Teachers of
NAS
Singing.
and
They
Facebook.
forwarded it to me, and I discovered it again on Facebook. And
Oh,
I
who
was
forwarded
able
it to you?
apply. NATS, the organization, National Association of Teachers of Singing. I'm not sure if you've heard.
On the national, okay.